Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of From Where We Stand podcast. I cannot believe it that we are here already. This is growing so well and I'm really happy that I can bring you guys another episode of this podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be talking about something very simple, but something that is oh so important. And that is, don't wait until it is perfect. Honestly, I am that person. I'm 110% a perfectionist. I want things to be all perfect from start to finish. And if I'm being honest with you guys, this has kept me from a lot of opportunities. This has helped me in certain areas of my life, but it would be wrong of me to not admit that I can see the parts of my life that it has hindered me to be a perfectionist. For example, content creation. If you want to succeed at content creation, you have to be scrappy. You have to do things fast. You have to adopt and adapt quickly, fast. Everything changes so quickly at a rapid pace. Because I'm a perfectionist, I always want to dot my I's and cross my T's. See, I had to hesitate there because I needed to make sure that I was saying the right thing. Being a perfectionist that's how I've been all my life, and I know it has gotten to the point where it's corny to say that you're a perfectionist, which is why for the last 15 years of my life, I actually deliberately tried to walk away from being a perfectionist. I tried to do everything in my power to make sure that I didn't even open my mouth to say or admit that I'm a perfectionist. But it all boils down to self-awareness. I had to reflect recently and realize that yes, I may be a retired perfectionist, which is the name I gave myself when I discovered that it was time to move away from this, that it was time to make a change and just work on myself. So I called myself a retired perfectionist for the longest time. But yeah, like I was saying, I was reflecting recently and I realized that perfectionism trait is still in me, right? No matter how much I try to run away from it, it's still a part of me. So that actually forced me to begin to think, okay, what is the root cause of this perfectionism? What is the root cause of me always wanting to make sure that things are done in a certain way? Why do I hesitate so long, and sometimes take so long? Yes, there are times that I move rapidly. There are times that I move at an insanely fast speed. I have that ability. But there are other times that I'm just like, it has to be perfect. It has to be right. And you know what? I'm going to give you an example, a very good example that you guys probably have already seen, or maybe you've not even noticed. This podcast. We are now on episode 4 of the first season. Guess who hasn't put this podcast up on listening platforms? Me. Yes. I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if the sound is crisp enough. I know, the video part, it works for YouTube and all of that, but I think I need a sound engineer. I think I need someone that, edits podcasts to take a look at the sound and make sure it's perfect for audio before I put it up on the platforms. No. Podcasts grow, right, over time. And again, I've been conversant of that to even be able to bring you guys this podcast in this season of my life that I'm in. I'm in a very busy season. So, like I said, on one hand, I'm a retired perfectionist. I've been able to let go of some of those perfectionism ways. But on the other hand, it's still there, still lingering in certain aspects. So I'll go back to this example. I've started a podcast. Despite, I told you guys in episode 2, my couch is now resting on 3 legs instead of 4. Actually, I recently found out when I had to order new legs that it's actually 8 legs it has. So it's resting on 7 legs instead of 8. And thankfully, the legs arrived. But that's not even the point of this. I'm such a perfectionist that I started a podcast. Yes, life right now is super busy. I have so much going on. I just moved recently, and so you can imagine what that process looks like. But even in the midst of that, I was able to start a podcast. So that's my retired perfectionist side, being like, you know what? However it is, we're going to start this. We're going to work on this. We're going to make it happen. I actually started recording my first episode. I filmed it before I moved. But obviously, when things got busy, I had to focus on my move, and then I edited and released the episode. But that's by the way. So as you can see, on one end, a retired perfectionist did something, even though situations and conditions are not really perfect right now, but I tried. And then on the other hand, the perfectionist in me, which, is why I'm discussing this with you, it's like I had to realize that it was still there, even though I'm making efforts, even though I can say I've come a long way from that perfectionist that I was, I had to realize that it's still there. So how is it still there? I haven't put any episode of this podcast on podcast platforms. Like, you will not find it because I just didn't put the audio. I didn't think the audio was ready enough. Obviously with video, I know it's good for YouTube, but I just kept overthinking. I'm like, you know what? I think podcast audio needs to be crisp. I think it needs to be perfect. I think a professional has to be the one to mix it. And I don't know anything about mixing audio. I don't know, like, yada 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 yada. Like, the fear, the excuses came up. Yes, they are valid excuses, right? Because again, I don't know what this is going to sound like audio only, when I know that, as you can see, I don't have like the podcast equipment, the mics, the wind blocker, whatever, right? So in that regard, yes, it is valid. But the truth is, if I was able to take the leap, then just go all the way. Like, go all the way, take the leap all the way. Put the audio on there on podcast platforms, and as time goes on, it'll get better. And truthfully, that's what I know. I know that it will get better, right? But like I said, there's still a sliver of that perfectionism. So anyways, this episode wasn't talk about perfectionism, but I just wanted to give you guys a personal example of why I'm even discussing this topic, which is don't wait until things are perfect. Don't wait until it's perfect. I'm going to give you guys another example. This podcast, I know everything is revolving around this podcast because again, it's something you guys can see and immediately relate to. I mean, like, you can relate what I'm saying back to what you're saying, right? So this podcast, I started conceiving the idea, I think I told you guys already, about 2 years ago, so 2023. Prior to that, I started a podcast sometime between 2020 and 2021. I did one episode and the world has never seen that podcast again. I don't even know if it's still live. And guess what? That time, yes, I put it on audio. It was audio only. So I put up the audio, even though I didn't have the perfect equipment or conditions. I put it on and then I just stopped recording. But what I was trying to get at is I then wanted to make this podcast. I think we started working on it properly October last year. So October 2024. We did the designs, like everything, conceptualization. You guys probably don't know this, but I'm also a brand designer, like brand and web designer, strategist. Like, I think strategy first before design. I'm not going to go out there and call myself a designer. I'm a brand and web strategist and designer. So we started the process of this podcast, conceptualized, designed, ideated everything from October last year. I think by early November, we're done. We had all, went through multiple rounds of revision, making sure that everything looks good, like the branding, perfection. Actually, I feel like I haven't even really launched or like showcased the branding of this podcast, but guys, it is amazing. It is phenomenal. It is incredible. Like, if I do say so myself, you guys haven't seen the best of it yet. But anyways, so we did all of that October and November, and then I just folded up. I wanted to start releasing episodes in, I believe, late October, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know what it was, but the truth is that was the perfect time to start this podcast. It was the perfect time to release, especially the first episode, but I didn't. And why it was a perfect time to release the first episode, because I was going through the things that I was talking about. It was so raw and so palpable that it would have jumped off the screen in a different way from when I eventually recorded it. Unknowingly to myself, I waited until I felt, you know what, I'm ready. I feel like things are never perfect, right? But I felt like I waited until I was ready. And at that time, it seemed like things were perfect. It was a yes, now I can start recording. But guys, that's not the truth. If you want to move in this world and with this world at the pace that we're going, with AI and technology and everything that's coming up, you have to move fast. You have to adapt. Yes, our ideas are gold, but guess what? It is not gold, it's silver or bronze until you action on it. Like, if we don't see it tangibly, that golden idea is no longer gold. What separates the doers from the thinkers is actually doing. You have to do. You have to take that leap. You have to take as many leaps as possible and fail as many times as possible. And actually, we're going to have to talk about failure at some point in a later episode. I got feedback that the episode we talked about success left out failure. So I'll definitely be talking about failure at some point. But all I'm trying to say is you do not need to wait until it is perfect. You do not need to wait till all your ducks are in a row before you do anything. Whatever that idea is, the first step you have to do is obviously conceptualize your idea, figure out what is this going to look like. But then the most important next step after you've sort of concretized your idea, whether you're writing it out, whether you're, discussing with friends, whether you're chatting with ChatGPT to like help you refine the idea. These are ways of like concretizing that idea and sort of mapping it out, getting that concept together. The next best thing that you need to do is you absolutely need to break that big idea down into smaller portions. So I'm going to go back to the podcast example. When we started designing for this podcast, we actually had that in mind because I was ready to start recording like right away, like yesterday. So our plan was we're going to do like a skeleton design, just bare bones, very basic design. And then I'll launch and, start recording episodes. And then we'll keep refining in the back end. That is how you launch your idea. You're not going to like make it perfect and then go to market, or make it perfect and then put it out there for your audience. And as you guys can see, I didn't do that initial plan that I had. I did the design through all the revisions, like end to end, like perfect. We did everything. And then I was like, I'm tired. And that's what happens when you wait for things to be perfect, because you've exerted so much energy into the conceptualization process and like your initial phases. You've put so much energy into it without even going to test your markets and your people, consumers and listeners, to see if this thing is viable, to see if this thing is important and needed right now. That is what they call product market fit. But I'm not going to go into all of that right now. You see what I mean? Because you've expended so much energy doing. Yes, you have to do, but you don't have to do till 100 when you're trying to bring an idea to life. But because you've expended so much energy doing to perfection, then it's time to release it out into the world and you're like, I'm tired. Like in my podcast example, I then didn't even have the energy to sit down and record episodes. I literally finished the designs, like we finished working on the designs like with my team, and I just like pushed it aside. I was like, I don't even want to see this again. Because like I told you guys, it was multiple iterations of design. So you can imagine the late nights, the early conversations, the brainstorming that went into it. I was exhausted by the time we were done. But imagine if I had followed the initial plan. We designed a little bit, and then I record episodes and we just push it out there and then keep improving. That would have been so much better. And that would have gained so much momentum. Now let's talk about time, because sometimes we think that, well, yeah, I want to make everything perfect. Look at the concept of time. Between October 2024 and now it's March 2025. I believe that is roughly 6 months, right? So I would have had 6 months under my belt of doing this podcast, or at least let's say 5 months. Let's knock out October for like that initial phase of the design. So this podcast would have been running for 5 months. Good. We finished the designs in November and I fold everything up. In December, I recorded the first episode, and like I told you guys, I was in the process of moving and just relocating my entire life. So now something that I didn't even see coming now takes up space and takes up time, that I can't work on this podcast anymore. And so I fold up shop until January. January is when I finally launched this podcast. Between January and now, it's March. We've only had 2 months. March just started. So it's only been 2 months and maybe a week versus 6 months. What someone accomplishes in 6 months, you can't compare it to 2.5 months. And yes, there are some times that people come out and they do things and it's successful overnight. But it looks like it's overnight, but really a lot of work went into it in the back end. But even if we're taking it at face value that, maybe yes, someone can come do a podcast and they succeed in 2 months, the learnings, right, which is what I'm always focused on. For me, it's not even about the numbers, whatever. Yes, that's great. But for me, it's the learnings. You can't compare the learnings of someone that has been doing something for 6 months to someone that has been doing that thing for 2 months, 2 months and a week. It's not the same. It can never be the same. It will never be the same. Not even if the person that started 2 months has like 1 million followers and like listeners, and the other person has like maybe 1,000 or 500. The learnings is not the same. And one thing, guys, one thing about knowledge and learning in this life is that no one can take it from you. No one can take it from you. Recently, Meghan Markle released her brand, what is it called? Sorry, a Netflix documentary or Netflix series, first of all. And then she's coming out with a brand called As Ever. When I read the about, because I love, you guys, you should know me by now. I'm a nerdy girl. I want to know the why. I want to know like the deep, deep, deep meaning behind everything you do. When I read the about of her brand As Ever, She said she referenced her audience that knew her back when, before she became Duchess of Sussex. And she said, wow, Sussex is actually really hard to pronounce. Duchess of Sussex. Wow, that is hard. But anyways, before she became Duchess, she referenced her readers and she said, you guys remember when I started, I think it's the TIG or the FIG, I can't remember. She started a blog in 2014, which coincidentally is when I started my blog. No, I started my blog in 2013, but I added the style section and basically started talking about style, like, publicly. Obviously, I was doing it in the back end always, but, I added the style section to my blog in 2014. So I was like, hey, Megan, we have something in common. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, so she referenced her readers and she's like, hey guys, remember when I started the TIG or the FIG in 2014, I always loved this. I always loved gardening. I always loved this and that, and then she brought it to present day, how she's still into those things. So that's what I want to bring to you guys. I want to bring this to your consciousness, that knowledge is never lost. Experience is never lost. Megan was blogging back then. I was blogging back then. And today she has a Netflix show that pulls from that same thing that she was doing over 10 years ago. And now she's going to have a lifestyle brand that is going to pull from that same thing. So you can never ever knock knowledge or experience because it will always transfer to another area of your life. And that's what I was trying to say. The person that starts in 2 months and gains like 1 million followers overnight, blah, blah, blah. And then the person that has been doing it for 6 months and maybe has 500 followers and you tend to overlook the other person. You don't know that that person has knowledge, more knowledge. They've tried more things and they've failed more, most likely, than that person that kind of, just started, did it overnight, succeeded. Because that person hasn't even had as many failures as the other person at surface level. Now, that ties everything that I'm talking about when it comes to time. You have to consider the concept, the value, the golden opportunity, the golden key even, that is time. You can never take that time away that you've spent learning something, that you've invested into your goals, into your dreams. Nobody can take that time from you. But you also have to be cognizant of the fact that when you don't move, when you don't take that action, when you wait for things to be too perfect before you move, you lose the compounding benefits of time. You lose it. You lose it because something that you could have started 6 months ago, you waited till it was perfect. And now you've only been doing it for 2.5 months and you don't even have the energy. Frankly, I don't have the energy as I would have had if I started this podcast last year. I'm in the process of a move. When my camera died a few minutes ago, I had to open up something that I haven't even unpacked yet and rummage through and look for extra batteries and plug it in and use my second camera because I haven't even unpacked, right? So now I don't even have the energy to invest in this thing. Whereas I was waiting for things to normalize. I was waiting for it to be perfect, for myself to be perfectly ready. And now I don't even have the time. I don't even have the bandwidth. I'm going to upload this and I may not even share it because I'm tired, because I have things to get to. I have to unpack, right? So, and I'm not even saying that because I won't do it. I'm saying because I know, because episode 3, I filmed, recorded, edited, and I didn't even post snippets on social media. And it's been 2 weeks now because I'm tired, because I'm trying to catch my breath any chance I have that I'm not unpacking. So that is the downside. That is the drawback of when you wait for perfection, when you wait for things to line up, when you wait to be ready. You can never be ready. You can never be fully ready. And yes, I'm going to appreciate the intention and I'm going to be a little ridiculous here and go to parenting. You can never fully be ready for something as being a parent, but please take more than 5 seconds to think about it before you bring a child into this world, because this world is not funny. There are generational curses that people need to be intentional about breaking. There are bad cycles and bad habits that people actually need to spend more than 5 seconds considering before they bring another human being into this world. So please, for all purposes and intentions, you can never be fully prepared for anything. But please, when it comes to parenting, give it more than 5 seconds of thought. I digress. I had to put that there. But with anything else in life, guys, you will not be fully prepared. You will not be fully prepared to start a company. You'll probably be fresh out of school. Maybe you haven't even gone to school, but you have this idea. You'll never be fully prepared, but you have to do it. You have to take the leap. Again, with parenting, please, before you take the leap, write a list of all the things you saw in your childhood that you don't want to happen to your children and be intentional about how you're going to prevent those things or how you're going to make a better future for them before you have a child. Okay. Just like, honestly, please, like, we don't need any more of these, like, just having children, like, here and there, just because, like, please, a little more intention in that aspect. I will appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So, you will never be ready. You will never be 120% ready for anything. But you have to be ready to take all the chances that life offers you. Take all the chances life throws at you. Take it. The more you take it, the more you're able to try things, the more you're able to even test your limits. Like, you test your abilities to its limits or to their limits, and then you unlock the next level. But you can't do that if you don't start. You can't do that if you don't even take the leap. When you don't take chances, you deny yourself the opportunity for growth. You deny yourself the opportunity for improvement, because as human beings, we should be constantly improving. And you deny yourself of being able to meet people that are on the same journey as you, right? A lot of us think that to achieve our dreams, we have to go at it alone. And yes, there are times that you would do that thing on your own for a certain amount of time. But when you don't take the leap, you deny yourself of being able to rub minds with and interact with people that are also trying to do the same things, that are also on that same journey. And you'll never be able to meet them except you take that leap, except you go to that event, except you join that network and that group. So you deny yourself of even surrounding yourself with like-minded people that are going where you're going, where you're trying to go, which actually is how we succeed, right? When you're able to find a community of people to propel you because you guys are trying to achieve the same things, then you're going to go further. But when you don't even start because you're waiting for things to be perfect, you lose out. You lose out on the opportunity to meet those people. You lose out on the opportunity to potentially connect with your tribe who is going to propel you. And so then it may take you longer to achieve those things. It may even be a more painful process because you're sort of doing it on your own instead of meeting other people. And it also even denies you of encouragement, right? Like I said, your tribe, those people that you meet on the way that are trying to achieve the same things as you. The truth is that you guys motivate each other, right? There are always hard times in the lives of any entrepreneur or anyone that's trying to make things happen. There are times that you're going to be discouraged. Even students, right? Whatever profession you have, whenever you're trying to do something for the next stage of your life, you're always going to be met with setbacks and discouragement. But if you're able to step out and do that thing and then meet people that are plugged in on that journey as you are, then you afford yourself the opportunity to have that constant stream of encouragement because you guys are going along on the same journey, and you guys will always be there for each other, to motivate each other, to encourage each other when things go hard. But when you don't even start because you're waiting for things to be perfect, you deny yourself of making those valuable connections, of forming that network with people that can propel you further. So that's something else to think about. So I think it may be time to wrap this up. I think we're leaving this in a good spot. I just wanted to remind you guys that you shouldn't wait till it's perfect before you take that big move, before you move to that new city, before you take that opportunity, before you start that business or open that blog or open that YouTube channel or start a podcast, whatever it is that you want to do, as long as it is in betterment of yourself, don't wait for things to be perfect, because the idea and the goal is that you're going to get better as you do that thing. You're going to get better with more practice. The more you do it, you're going to only get better. So why would you deny yourself of the opportunity to be better tomorrow by not starting today? It doesn't make sense. But we do it all the time. I hope this helps someone. I hope this is the gentle reminder that you needed, that you shouldn't wait till things are perfect before you start. Go and take those opportunities. Put yourself out there. Take the leap of faith. You never know. It just might work out for you. And even if it doesn't work out, you learned something that is going to help you in your next phase in life. Later down the line, again, like I said, knowledge is never lost. Experiences are never lost. Nobody can take that from you. It is yours. And it can only keep morphing into something better as long as you give yourself that room to grow, right? Your experiences right now, your whatever lessons, whatever even failures you have right now, it's the seed that you're planting so that you can grow tomorrow. So give yourself that chance. Give yourself the gift of time. Again, time. Make time work for you. Make time be on your side by not waiting for things to be perfect, so that that thing can compound and you enjoy the compounding benefits of time. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there for now. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast. I am so excited. You guys know this. Every time I sit here and I record, I'm just like, I'm so grateful to be able to do this. Episode 4 is wrapping up. And yes, guys, after opening up to you guys about not putting the audio up, I'm going to make sure I do that over the next at least maybe 2-3 weeks. I'm going to make sure I release the audio version of this podcast so that you guys can find it on any platform that you use to listen to podcasts. So that is going to be a take-home work for me. I'm going to figure it out and put it up for you guys so that you can listen on the go. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. I hope this inspires you in some way. From where we stand is really just where we're challenging societal notions so that we can be better for ourselves and for our future. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave your opinions in the comments below. I'd really love to read them. I want to interact with you guys and know what you guys think about this episode, what you took away from this episode, and what you're most looking forward to implementing in your life. See you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye. All right. Bye. Hey! Episode 4. Episode 4. Episode 4 is done. Oh my goodness, guys. This top, I know I didn't get a chance to show you. Oh, this looks good. Why didn't I film like this? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Oh, I should have done that. But anyways, guys, this top looks good. It's another Amazon buy. It's so funny. I only tell you guys my clothes when I buy from Amazon because it's almost like, wow, I can't believe. But yeah, this top is from Amazon. And let me know if you guys want me to start leaving links, just sneaking links of whatever items I'm wearing in the comments. Like, obviously, I have my style and lifestyle YouTube channel where I would, right, leave that linked, like, by default. But it's like, this is a podcast. Would that interest you guys? Do you want it? I can sneak links down in the description box, so let me know. Anyways, this is my cute Amazon top. I love brown, guys. I love brown. I love brown so much. My birthday last year, I wore a brown dress and it was fire. It was kill. It was stunning. It was 10 over 10. Give me more. So yeah, brown is me. And I kept my lips neutral just to match. I do this. Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of From Where We Stand podcast. I'm your host, Memko, and today we'll be talking about don't wait till it's perfect. Oh my gosh, guys, today's outfit is courtesy of Amazon and Skims. I'm wearing the Skims pants. I love it. I got it in December, but I haven't worn it before until I decided to wear it. But it's such an interesting color combo because it's like brown and then purple. Yeah, so my pants are like berry color and it's brown, and I feel like this is such an unusual color combo. Like, look at that. But I love these pants so much. It's the cotton jersey pants from Skims. Love it. Fold-over pants. All right, guys, bye. I'm going to cry when I'm editing this because I keep going on and on. Bye, guys. Bye.